This is the iPhone 14. Wait, this is the iPhone 14. No, that's a 13, I guess. This is the iPhone 14. And of course, Apple is not really famous for changing the design every year in a drastic way, but the changes this year are so little that I accidentally used the iPhone 13 for half a day before I realized that I did not switch to the 14 because they are so similar, and a friend of mine put it into the wrong box and I did not even notice that I used the old phone. Only when I opened the selfie camera I did realize, oh wow, there's no autofocus. There are only two glues that you have the new iPhone. One is the color. There's a new purple and the baby blue option, and the second one is the camera element. It is slightly larger with a different flash. The arrangement of the lenses is still diagonal, the back is made out of glossy ceramic shield glass and the boxy aluminum frame is matte. I find the latter better than the Pro model because you can't see any fingerprints and it makes the weight about 35 grams lighter. The iPhone 14 now is easier to repair, which is good for your wallet and the environment. However, the workmanship remains on the highest level and the 6-meter water resistance for 30 minutes underlines that. The iPhone 14 comes in two sizes, 6.1 and 6.7 inch. Unfortunately, this means that the mini model is now history, but also that you can get a larger iPhone for less money than ever before. Both displays have first-class color reproduction, a sharp resolution, a crisp contrast and a perfect black level thanks to OLED and the maximum brightness of 800 nits. In HDR it is 1200 nits. Another unchanged thing is the notch. Apple has unfortunately put the new 31% smaller hole punch only in the Pro model. And I think that's a shame because it not only looks nicer, it also brings function to the Pro model. Developers will probably bring out apps for it which you can't use on a regular iPhone 14. But most of the features the dynamic island brings are also available on the iPhone 14 with a few more steps. I find it much worse that there's no 120Hz display and not even 90Hz. It's still 60Hz, and that's not acceptable at any price in 2022 and at 1000 euros. The always-on display is also not present in the iPhone 14. At least Face ID in the notch can recognize you now with a mask on and from every angle. The biggest innovation of iOS 16 is the lock screen. You can add a different font, widgets and a fancy new depth effect. And you've probably seen it all over social media. You can now copy content from images as a sticker, just like that, with any image. That's really funny and technically impressive. And with 5 to 6 years of updates, who knows what the iPhone 14 will be able to do in the future. It is technically possible to do an emergency call over satellite now. It does not work outside of the US or Canada though. However, everywhere the iPhone is now able to call an emergency service in case of a car accident, a feature I hope you will never need, but it can save your life. All in all, iOS is a beautiful piece of software. There are lovely animations in every corner and Apple's ecosystem is still the most extensive. The processor in the iPhone 14 has the same name as on the iPhone 13. It's the A15 Bionic, but there are 2 extra cores and because of them there's an 18% performance increase. And the A16 has another 15% more performance. But they are so close to each other that you really can't feel the difference. They are both super fast, reliable and everything. The only big difference is the display. The 14 Pro feels faster because it has the 120Hz display and not 60Hz. The battery life is unchanged to the predecessor. I got 5 hours of display use. That's quite good. You can rely on the device. It's hard to empty it in one day. I did not test the Plus model though, but I would assume it has 1.5 hours more of screen on time. Charging is super slow and done with Lightning and not USB-C in 30 minutes to 50%. A OnePlus 10T charges also to 50% in only 6 minutes. Wireless charging is available with and without MagSafe. Reverse wireless charging is unfortunately not supported. The iPhone 14 has 2 cameras. The main camera now has a new sensor, namely that of the iPhone 13 Pro with 12 megapixel and an f1.5 aperture. As my review of the 14 Pro showed, it takes very similar photos. There are hardly any situations where the Pro is better. Only in the Pro RAW mode there are are big improvements. So no matter you got an iPhone 14 Pro or an iPhone 14, you will take great pictures with them. It's a different story with the ultra wide angle. It does not have autofocus and therefore does not have the cool macro mode. The quality is in general a bit worse and it's especially noticeable in the dark. This is not a bad camera, but you can see that the Pro model is better. Apple left out a zoom completely. That means more than 2 times magnification quickly becomes pixelated. Apple's strength is the video mode in my eyes. The new action stabilization is really impressive. You can run like there's no tomorrow and still get smooth 2.8K recordings. Conclusion: the iPhone 14 is quite similar to the 13, and I would be okay with that if the price would decrease, but they increased it by quite a lot. This one is 850 euros, this one is 1000, and the Plus model is 1150. So it's not a bad smartphone, but you can get a lot more smartphone otherwhere. Like the Moto Edge 30 Ultra, which has a 144Hz display, the newest processor, it has a great battery life, stock Android, and it can charge in 20 minutes from 0 to 100 with a 200 megapixel camera. So it really is a great deal, and the iPhone 14 just is not. So yeah, if you want to buy one, I would wait for a great price drop. I would buy the predecessor or something totally different. That's it from this video. I hope you liked it. See you on the next one. Bye.